Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be trying out my very first Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette, or eyeshadow in general, and I'm so excited to dip my brushes in here. And the palette I'm going to be trying out today is the new Beautyverse eyeshadow palette, and I mean the packaging is so beautiful. I love the design, super extra glam, definitely is giving off holiday vibe. And if you've been here on my channel, you know I am such an indie makeup girly. I love my indie brands. I love my shiny, shifty, sparkly eyeshadows. And this palette captured my attention. And there's a reason I haven't tried a Charlotte Tilbury palette for this long, because nothing quite spoke to me enough to want to buy a palette. But this one has some really interesting, beautiful, shiny, sparkly shadows. A little bit of duochrome action too. And I just really wanted to try out her textures. And there's definitely some new textures in here, I believe. So this is a 9-pan eyeshadow palette, and it does come with a plastic insert with the names on it, which personally I don't really like that. I'm probably just going to throw this out, but for the sake of the video I did keep it in just so I could point out which shades I was using. So there's 4 mattes and 5 shimmers. There's 1 standard matte and 3 future mattes, and I was so intrigued to try these out. And I like the tones of the mattes, which is why I felt like this palette, out of all the palettes, would be a palette I really see myself using. Day to night palette just filled with some super special shimmers. There's again a couple of different formulas. So the silver in the center is a crystal glow formula, and then next to that is a party topper, which I'm especially excited about. And then all the bottom 3 shades are the crystal glow formula. And let me tell you, these all feel so amazing. Really beautiful textures to the touch, which is something I also very much appreciate. So I'm going to be creating these 2 looks with this palette, and then I'll be giving you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. So let's get right into it. So I'm going in with a virtual taupe, and to me it very much picks up like the Natasha Denona cream to powder, and yep, it feels like it too. Super smooth on the lid. I mean, it just looks like I didn't even put any matte powder down. This is the Future Matte. Oh, that is blending so beautifully. And I'm using the Refer 14 brush. Look at that. And that went a very long way. I mean, I'm still going. I'm still going. Look at that. Next, I'm going in with Space Chocolate. I'm so excited to try this one out. Okay. Just gonna deepen up the outer corner. I always, 95% of the time, deepen up my outer corner. I just feel like it really suits my eye shape, just really kind of feathering it out here and blowing it out. And I feel like we get decent depth. I'm just gonna go back in and just see if I can layer on a little bit more. And I'm just gonna wipe off my brush. These like go for days. I mean, these are blending so nicely. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with a shimmer. I think on one eye, I'm just gonna use my fingers because I usually use my fingers. And then on the other eye, I will use a brush and maybe a tacky primer just to kind of see. Or maybe I'll just dampen my brush. So let's see, which one do I want to use? I kind of want to use Golden Galaxy. Oh, so pretty. And I'm just gonna pop that right. This is so stunning. So beautiful. It's a little bit more like sheeny, but it looks wet. Just adding on another layer. So pretty. And then I think on the inner portion, I'm going to go in with Beautyverse, which is actually a topper. So I'm going to see, oh my, that is so sparkly. This one definitely has like a more drier feel to it. It's a little bit more like piecey. I had a little bit of fallout because, again, I went in back and forth a bit. I'm actually going to put it on top of this shade too. Just layer. And that is so beautiful. So here's the first look. I'm gonna take a Cosmic Pink on this side. This is a regular matte. So I feel like I'm getting a good variety of different formulas that I'm getting in here to try from Charlotte Tilbury, since this is my very first time trying any sort of eyeshadow from her. I have a couple of face products. I have the foundation, I have the bronzer, which I really love the bronzer. And then I have the Glow Wand, which is also really nice. Really love that one. I'm picking up Supernova Suede, and I'm just gonna pop that a little bit over here. Just to kind of add a little bit more dimension with the mattes. And this one is the Future Matte. So kind of mixed in with the pink. I'm going to go back in with Cosmic Pink just on the edges. I'm gonna bring it underneath my lower lash line just a tiny bit. And now I really want to use Digital Lilac because it looks so pretty. And I am going to use my Fernie Pixie Epoxy. This is just a great shimmer primer. And I'm just going to tap it out on the rest of my lid. I want to make sure that I'm spreading it around. Taking this What's Up Beauty R106 brush. And I'm picking up Digital Lilac. Oh yeah, this one's definitely pretty piecey to pick up. And I definitely feel like I would have quite a bit of fallout with the shade. Oh, that's so pretty. So pretty. I'm going to just put this all over the lid, actually, I think. Oh, that is so beautiful. There's like silver flecks throughout it. It's definitely pretty sheer. I would probably recommend, depending on the kind of look you're going for, you can definitely get just like a fleck kind of look if you wanted that, like super ethereal, because I think this is still ethereal over the Fernie Pixie Epoxy. But I think if I was to use it without the Fernie Pixie Epoxy, it would have been even more sheer and the sparkles would have been more scattered. And this one, I can see a bit of a shift to it. It's like a very subtle, almost golden kind of shift. And I do want to try out the silver on the lid because it just looks absolutely, definitely the most pigmented and most opaque one. And for that, I'm going to use this Sigma Beauty and Samantha collab kind of pencil brush. You can use any pencil brush, and I'm just dipping my brush in there, and I did mist it just a little bit. And that's just gonna go right there as a little accent. I mean, it's a nice silver. Like I said, definitely more opaque, but you could probably build this one up if you wanted to, as I'm doing right now. I honestly wish it was kind of like a silver with a tone to it and not just like a true silver, just in my personal opinion. I think it would have really complemented some of these other tones. So maybe if it was like a purpley silver or a pinky silver. And here's the second finished look. So how was my first experience with a Charlotte Tilbury palette? Let me tell you, definitely very much enjoy the different formulas in here and the different textures. Absolutely love the Future Mattes. I think these are such a great matte formula because it's like they just touch your skin and they blend out so seamlessly and they don't add any skin texture. There's definitely some matte shadows that can accentuate if you have already drier eyelids, and if you have any skin texture, it will get accentuated, but these just absolutely beautiful formula. Like I said, it does very much remind me of the cream to powder mattes from Natasha Denona, and I'm just really excited to see more matte formulas. I feel like there's a lot of shimmer formulas out there, but not as many mattes, and I would love to kind of revisit those and see what else can be done. I do kind of wish this pink was also the Future Matte. I just feel like after trying these, I kind of just wish this one was the same formula as well, because I could tell there was a difference in the way that it applied and the way that it blended on the lid. I mean, these just blended themselves and they went on for days. So anyways, I am really glad that I tried this palette, just even purely based on the mattes, and I'd be really curious if there's any palettes that she has that have more depth, that have only the Future Matte formula. I would honestly love to have a really nice curated neutral palette with just this formula in it, but enough depth, because I do feel like this still a little bit more depth. Talk about the shimmer shadows in here. When I touch them, I mean, these feel exquisite, they feel delicious, they feel beautiful. They are just truly special, and that is a lot coming from someone who has definitely dipped her fingers in a lot of different shimmer shadow formulas, and I just feel like higher end brands do tend to make more sophisticated kind of shimmer formulas. The texture and the finish, and really allowing layerability without any skin accentuation, which totally makes sense given, you know, the higher end brands do have a different audience from indie brands, obviously. The silver shade is definitely more like a creamy metallic. It is the most opaque. Again, I kind of wish it was a little bit different tone just to make it a little bit more special. The topper shade is very interesting. Also, by the way, this pan actually fell out, so I'm not really too happy about that, because the cost of this palette, I do feel like the pan should not be falling out. But this is such an interesting topper. I feel like it has kind of sparkly flecks throughout it that are a little bit uneven, and I think that just really allows it to be topped over any of these or just worn on its own. So I do really like that one. I do want to play around with it just a little bit more. And then the bottom three shades are just so spectacular. I know that they're all the same formula, but but I feel like they're a little bit different. Like this one feels a little bit more like waxier. It has a little bit more tug to it when you swatch it, but these are just so stunning. I love this center bottom shade. I mean, this one is the most special one in here, I think. It has a little bit of characteristics of this topper shade, the Party Topper, because it has a bunch of flecks throughout it that are kind of scattered around, which will really just give like a galaxy look. And it is a duochrome, shifts to a gold, and is just absolutely stunning. I really like this formula, and I wouldn't mind having more shades like this. I think this is a great holiday launch. Honestly, I feel like when I looked at this palette, I thought of holiday, but it is still a great like everyday palette all year around. But definitely these are some special textures. So those are my thoughts on my very first Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette. Let me know in the comments below which eyeshadow palette from Charlotte Tilbury is your favorite, or do you like their single shadows? I know they have these single compacts, which I've been wanting to get my hands on some of them. And that's everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you love eyeshadow palette content, special shimmery shadow content, and lots of tutorials and inspiration look, then definitely consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.